I wanted to ask you this question here, or this question's come in. Why should we be using password managers to manage our passwords, and which ones would you recommend?
Cool. Yeah. So passwords. What a horrific, nightmarish thing we have to deal with, and um, it's a pain in the backside having to remember all these different passwords. And for those of us that currently work or have worked in big corporates, where you have these painful painful systems where it's been 30 days since you last changed your password, you have to change your password again, but you can't change it to what it was before the current password, and it has to be a certain length, and it has to have funny characters in it, and it has to meet all these requirements, and you end up with this horrible, unwieldy password. Or more commonly, you end up with one weird, unwieldy password that you use across every platform. And I think that's probably pretty much the norm. That's where password managers are great, because password managers let you create unique, hardened passwords for each different system that you're using. If you can't remember all those passwords, if you write them down on a piece of paper and stick it behind your keyboard, or you save it in a document on your phone, or anything like that, that's incredibly vulnerable and bad. The reason why having unique passwords across different platforms is important is because it's way easier for your passwords to become compromised than most people realize. So to hack a password database, or to get a list of passwords attached to usernames or email addresses, is really easy. This is worth writing down. If you can, write this down. There's a podcast, and if you search for The Russian Passenger. So this is a podcast. It's called Reply All, from a company in the US called Gimlet Media. Reply All is an amazing podcast in general, but this particular episode called The Russian Passenger, Google it, find it. It's available on the web, or you can pull it into your podcast client. It's a story about a chap whose Uber account is hacked, and his Uber account is being used by a guy or by someone in Russia to book Uber fares, and he's being charged for it. And it goes into this great big detailed but very accessible and very interesting story about how this happens and how his password got hacked. And it's far more interesting and entertaining than anything I can say. So password managers make having strong, unique passwords across different platforms really easy. There's a bunch of them out there. Most of them are horrible. The ones that are least horrible, in my opinion, is one called Dashlane, one word, Dashlane, and another one called LastPass, just one word, LastPass. They're pretty good. They'll work on your phone, they'll work on your laptop or your desktop or whatever you're using. The other thing I'd recommend is, if you have accounts with banks that have those funny little doodads that have a number that changes every 60 seconds on them, those are called two-factor authentication devices. And two-factor authentication is combining something that you know, which is your password, and something that you have, which is the device that gives you this number. And those are the two factors of authentication. The other one in the mix is biometrics, which is something you are. So it may be something you know and something you are, like your fingerprint or your retinal scan. But two-factor authentication devices are cheap. They integrate with platforms like Dashlane and LastPass, and it means that if somebody was to get hold of your master password for Dashlane or LastPass and they can see all your passwords, they can't do that unless they also have that device and they key in the number that's changing every 60 seconds randomly on that device. So worth looking into if you're a little bit paranoid. I'm a little bit paranoid. I've got one.
And where would you get those from, John? I haven't heard of them, but I'm going to go out and get one today.
Yeah, no, they're really great. So you can buy them online, but the best option would be look into Dashlane or LastPass, or do a search for reviews of other password managers, and you can buy them through those websites and through those platforms.